All right, here we go. August 29th, 9:08 a.m. Rich UX comes online to teach you the act of building a WordPress website. That's what we're going to be doing today. Going to be taking someone's website, completely refurbishing it, getting it set up so it's visually optimal, so it's somewhat search engine optimal. Let's confirm we are live. Before we get going here, I hope you're going to get settled. Let me know how the quality is. How's the music? How's the mic before we get going? Yeah, it looks like we're live on YouTube. Just gonna do a quick check of Twitch. You can watch me on YouTube or Twitch, as well as Periscope and DTube. On YouTube or Twitch. Yep, it looks like we're live. Great. Now, let's get the chat going. Good to see you guys all here. Hope you want to learn some WordPress skills today. I made a lot of money when I was younger with WordPress. You can still make a lot of money. Hi, Zoe. I really want to make this chat app work over here. Let's not start on that. Let's start here. Is my chat app working? Is my chat app working? Let's test the chat app, guys. Yes, good. Look, good. You see that? Oh, interesting. So it came up twice. When I type, it comes up twice. This is all new, guys. This multi-streaming stuff, I got to get into this more. I mean, I was streaming on Twitch primarily before, but now I want to stream on multiple. Okay, so just give me a moment while I just adjust this a little bit. No, I don't want all of that to move. Not like that. Just the chat, please. Just the chat. Thank you. It's so crazy these days that, like, we have the ability to produce a TV show live. Hey, it looks like Zoe was silence. Sorry about that. Hey, CD, what's up, yo? Edwin. In YouTube, you only saw it once. Right, that makes sense. So what's happening on the right side of the screen is it's pulling all of the chat messages from Twitch, YouTube, etc. So I guess we're going to get settled here and start working on this project. Let me give you some context. By the way, is the music too loud? I want to keep the music going, but I feel it's a bit too loud. Let me know. Might just be on my side. Hi, Jakora. Wow, it's so much different streaming on multi-platforms. Like, it's much harder to do it by yourself. Okay, I don't want this restream bot. He's way too serious. Before, when I was just on Twitch, everything was easy to manage in one screen. Now I feel like there's so much going on. Okay, lower the music. Oh, you saw me lowering the volume? Yeah, that was just lowering my monitor speakers. You're right. It wasn't really lowering the production sound, but I think I did lower it now on the other side. Well, welcome everyone. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Went for a coffee and a walk this morning with my son and my wife. Had a beautiful morning. And now I want to work on my friend's WordPress website. And I think it's so important to understand WordPress. It may not be the be-all, end-all. I mean, Webflow is quite fantastic, but it's so intermediate and advanced. WordPress, it allows us to start earning and building for free, essentially. So I'm going to kind of break it down today, like how I would approach this. This is what I've been given. Okay, this is what I've been given. All right, so we're in a bit of a pickle here. Right, like what is this? So you have to recognize how many people are actually, they are unconsciously unconscious. They're unconsciously incompetent when it comes to building something that faces the world on a screen. Like they don't understand about contrast. They don't understand about spacing. They don't understand about layers. They don't understand about design principles. And then even if they did, they end up having things like this where they don't know how to fix and make these things look professional. And even here, look at this instance. They have put the text in this weird text box, right? And this is a business. I don't want to go too fast, but I could probably fix this in under 20 minutes. I will use a bit of speed, but I want people to see the key steps. And I think that more people need to take on work like this because it opens up the gate for a lot of other things. Because how can this company run a Facebook ad? How can this company work on Instagram content? Like, they don't even have the foundation of a digital presence correct, right? They're also unsecure, as you might have noticed. So, yeah. Sorry, Pratik, not going to be answering those kind of questions at this moment. Maybe I'll try, but I'm really going to be focused on presenting the demonstration I'm working on today. But to quickly answer your question, YouTube, be more creative when it comes to how to drive attention from YouTube. Let me give you an example. Somebody out there is going on Reddit, copying all of the comments and texts and feeding them into a voice generator and putting up videos on YouTube that just repeat the comments of Reddit. And these videos are getting millions of views because they're funny and interesting topics. That's repurposing. That's reconfiguring content. I mean, we need to get a little bit more creative instead of being like, you know, my insurance company, we need to make some insurance YouTube videos about how to buy insurance. I mean, that was 5 to 10 years ago, kids. It's time to get a bit more creative in how you appear on someone's device. I think next year I'll be doing a lot more crazy stuff. I'm not into the full paid ads yet. I'm more into organic still. All my sales come from organic still. So, but if I was to spend a lot more on digital advertising, I would be doing way more funky ad openings. Like, no offense, Pratik, but your Facebook ads are decreasing your profit margins. But have you even looked into optimizing your Facebook ads, right? Like, do you really even know how to do that? No offense, but that's a fair question. Okay, that's why I don't want to get sidetracked, because I can go forever on that topic and I want to fix this website. Why? Time is money. So I will go somewhat speedy, but let's break it down. What we have here is someone who doesn't know anything about WordPress. I told them I would fix up their front page and make it look normal. And I would set them up with a better theme. See, they thought, like many people do, I'm just gonna go, install one of these little themes online. Well, themes suck, okay? Only noobs use themes. That's okay. If you're a noob, use a theme. Get something like this. Beautiful, right? Because templates, they are made to look good as a template, but when you bring them to life, they lack a certain flow. You want to build from scratch. And once you get fast, you can do that quite quickly. So One of the problems is I like to use Jupyter theme. And what happens is when you go to add that theme, what's gonna happen is it's gonna say it's too big. So hold on a moment while I just prepare the download. What's gonna happen is we're probably gonna have to use the FTP. But let's try this anyways and upload this theme. Essentially what I'm doing on my other monitor is I'm going to extract the Jupyter theme. Now, I use the Jupyter theme because it's a page builder. It includes a page builder, but a lot of people now also like to use Elementor. And although I like Elementor too, it's a little bit more... how should I say this? It's harder to use Elementor for free. I think that's what my experience is. And maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but you know, once you buy a theme, like you can install it on other sites. And sometimes that company knows how to block you and sometimes they don't. So since I'm not getting paid for this work today, it's a friend's work that I offered to help. You know, I'm using something for free. And I already have access to this theme, and so I'm just going to upload it over here. Okay, exactly what I said would happen happened. This file exceeds the upload max files. Oh my God, I broke my website, right? No, not yet. Okay, you haven't broken it yet. And trust me, I've broken the site before. It happens, and it's scary when it happens, but it's almost always fixable. And anyways, typically your web host can always roll you back to a previous state. So what you would have to do in this case is you would come into your client's cPanel, control panel, web hosting, and you need to go to the file manager, or you need to set up an FTP. But I think the file manager is going to be appropriate here. Now, I've never been inside this person's control panel. How do I know where I'm going? How do I know what to click? How come I know this, right? Well, over time, they all kind of look similar. And when you're in your file manager, you can access all of the files, the things that make WordPress what it is. What you're seeing here are the WordPress functionality core files. They work together to create this UI and experience. Now, where do you install themes when you're doing them manually? You go into WP content. Okay, content kind of means like, what are the assets and elements you're going to add to WordPress? And when you break it open, you actually see plugins, themes, uploads. We're looking for themes. You can see the different themes here. Now, here's something most people don't know is you can't upload a file folder. If I go to upload, I can only do one file at a time, at least in terms of a folder add. I don't believe you can add a folder. However, what you do is you drag and drop the zip file, okay, jupyter.zip. And what happens is you go back in, you reload it, excuse me, where is it? There it is. I was like, huh, never saw that before. Okay, so notice how these themes are all in folders, right? Well, right click on this, extract. All file managers have the ability to upload in a zip and then extract. And all you do is just click yes. Right away, it's designed to do that. So when you reload the files, here is Jupyter. Excellent. Now, when I come back to my WordPress site and I press refresh, you're going to see the Jupyter theme now here. There it is. All right, so you have to activate a theme. All right, don't freak out. But whenever you install a theme like Jupyter, you know, it's a bit more powerful. I didn't really explain what Jupyter is, but it's a pretty powerful theme. Oh, wow. Jupyter X has Elementor built in. I might have to switch over to Jupyter X, but I'm still using Jupyter Original. Anyways, you can basically build anything with Jupyter. Okay, it has every feature, every ability. It's just as strong as Elementor, but whatever. I'm already biased to it. It's hard for me to move over. I teach people in this. It's hard for me to move to Elementor now. So, you know, when you get a thing like this, required plugins, you're going to want to do that, right? You're just going to want to go ahead and say, okay, if I'm going to use this theme and they tell me to do this, I'm just going to do it. So what they want is for you to install all this shit. Go ahead, install it, let it happen. I think I did that really quickly, but basically I selected all and then I chose to install all. Give this stream a like if you're watching on YouTube. By the way, guys, on Twitch, I still have not determined yet whether YouTube viewers get niche coins. They might, I don't know. But, you know, the fact is I mean, I've almost got 10,000 followers on YouTube. It's really hard for me not to stream on YouTube now. Like, it's kind of silly. I love the Twitch platform, but it's getting to the point where, like, the people who know me, they're going to be on YouTube, and I don't want to make that, like, annoying for them to come to Twitch. So going to be doing more cross streams like this. Okay, all installations have been completed. Excellent. So let's just go ahead and re-click into the dashboard and kind of refresh this. Okay, a lot of freaking notes here. Activate the required plugins. So I only installed them. Now I have to activate them. That's a two-step process for plugins. Now notice, some were required and some were recommended. Well, I just went with them all. It's okay. You're not going to want to ask a lot of those questions and, like, worry about that kind of stuff in the beginning. What's important is that you come back to your client with something that looks better than this. Now, let me make it clear. These people are artists and they like this artwork. They're just not doing a very great job of displaying it for a website. And that's what we're going to try and help them do. Okay. Plugins were successfully activated. Now, please resolve these issues for maximum compatibility. Now, gets a little bit tricky here. If you would just afford me a moment, I believe I've solved this in my database somewhere already, and I'm gonna have to look it up. I haven't done this exact step for a while, and the reason is now I clone my sites. Like, I don't normally start from scratch like this. I clone an existing framework and I get to bypass all this. The reason I can't clone today is because it would actually erase this page, and I don't want to erase this page right now. I'm going to make my life simple. I'm going to leave this page active, and then I'm going to draw elements from this page to create a new home page. If I cloned, I would lose what is here. But so I'm losing a bit of time, but I'm keeping flexibility, making my life easier, because otherwise then I got to go copy and paste all this stuff into another file and save that. I want this job to be done in like 2 hours. So I'm just going to do a quick lookup. This is a memory limit situation. Yes, I've already saved this. And I'll just show you, like, what I brought up is my old workflowy documents. I searched memory limit, and I've already, look at this, SOP library, digital marketing, WordPress Jupyter theme website setup checklist, cPanel management. Why would I go looking for this weird thing again, right? I have to add to WP config in FTP. How do you do that? That sounds so scary. It's not that scary. Come back into your cPanel. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be removing these errors. Right now there's a memory limit, and I'm going to try and remove that. Let's see what else I said here. Right, memory limit. Okay, we're gonna hope that that helps. Hope I'm not losing too many people, but this is this is sort of like the nuanced information for sort of a digital marketing consultant who'd want to help someone in very little time. Now, I said WP config. Here it is right here, wp-config.php. So you're going to right click that. You're going to go to edit. This is some scary shit, okay? What you have to do is you have to come down here and you just have to add that like that, just like that. You see how it looks very similar, define with a semicolon. That's it. I'm just going to save those changes. I'm going to come back to orcuspod.ca and make sure it works. If I mess that up, this site would not load. Notice what's happened. Jupyter has started to take over and it's trying to fix the existing site. We got to come in and save this. Okay, this is now live. That's a little bit of the downside to working this way. This is live. Now, it doesn't matter. No one goes to this site. It's only like a week old. It really doesn't matter. And that's the thing. When you work with smaller clients and they get no traffic, you don't really need to do this big, I'm going to build it over here, and then I'm going to transfer it over here. That's for like people who are running sites that are very active already. Hi, Harsha. Welcome. Okay, so let's see what errors we fixed up. I'm just going to refresh this, and the errors that we fixed should go away. Okay, let's go back into the admin. Now, right off the bat, I'm not seeing any of those errors anymore. So maybe that one thing sort of cleaned it up. Great. WooCommerce database update required. I'm going to do that. That's an obvious one. Now, they said they might want to use Shopify. So why did they add WooCommerce? Not sure. This is all just technical stuff. My God, they have too many freaking plugins. Okay. I might have to clean that up for them after. Let's move into the page building elements. And I think we'll go a little bit bigger. I think I built a bigger frame. Yeah, I think this is okay. I think we'll go a little bit bigger with no chat on the side, just to give it enhanced viewing experience. And welcome to everyone who's here. Great to see you on a Saturday morning. We're doing a little WordPress walkthrough. So far, we've received the visual from the client. And you know what? I really regret not doing something. So we're going to go back. We're going to deactivate Jupyter for a moment, which is not something you typically want to do. Okay, notice there's 3 more errors, but I got rid of one of them so far. I want to go back to their theme because I want to capture a photo of what their site looks like. I should have done this before. I wasn't thinking about it. Let's try it again. Let's refresh this. Yeah, it's okay, great. So what I like to do here is I like to go to my screenshot app and capture the entire page. And I'm also going to just get a Miro board going. I like to get a Miro board going. I'm going to start a new one called Orca's Pod. Website. All right, so, you know, I've got a new Miro board coming up here. So what I'm going to do is now that I've taken this screenshot, I'm going to right click, copy. I'm just going to bring it in. Looks like I actually need to save the image, which is probably because it's getting to be a bit big. That's okay. It comes down here and I just drag this in like that. Okay, so we're going to do like a case study before and after. I think I want to get into page building now because I think, hey, Jovan, I don't want to be over technical today. And I think we've really gotten pretty far. Like those other error messages, they're all Googleable. They're all solvable. And in fact, some of them can be solved by adding another plugin. Like Upload max file size. I thought I solved this before. Max file size. Upload max file size. Nothing. Okay. So let's make sure that our theme has come back online. Okay, great. So what we're going to do is we've got the visual of where they started us off, right? And we see that this company is called Orca's Pod. Okay. So we're just kind of reframe and kind of visualize what we want. Like we do want Orca's Pod to be loud and proud, but also if you're going to have like a logo, you don't really need to put your logo or your name in the middle. Instead, you should say like what you are. And so if we go and look at what text they've added, I'm still going to end up ultimately bringing it over here. And Miro is kind of a good place to store this stuff. So they've got quite an extensive about, but I think like community arts-based hub in Gibson's is going to be priority for a headline because I think this is sort of the primary keyword that they're going to be interested in coming up for. Like they don't care about Orca's Pod because that's a brand name, but community arts hub, City Gibson's, like that's going to be important. Okay. You know, they're just trying to feature a bit of art here. I know they've got an Instagram, so if we could pull in the Instagram, that would be great. As of July 1st, we've opened up. Okay, and so they've got these links here. Let's see what they're linking to. Instagram. And another Instagram, cool. And the family is also showing a lot of their creative work here. Don't really know if, I mean, this is a very, you know, simple family who's just looking to try and have a simple business, enjoy their life, do the things they love. They're artists. But, you know, you don't really want to use the front of your website to be like just jamming links of everything you're working on just so like people see it, because that does not respect the internet culture where I'm coming to your website to solve a problem, to learn something, to find out what you offer. I don't care about the things that really aren't about what I searched for. And if I'm going to search for Community Arts Hub, I don't really care about wild mushrooms. Welcome, everyone. We're doing a WordPress walkthrough, and I'm taking this sort of very amateurly designed site. We're starting here, and we're going to see where we go. And we're really just about to get into the design phase. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll start pulling in some of the more interesting elements. So coming back into WordPress, you know, this is about adding a new page. The difference between post and page: posts are based on chronological time. Pages are more static. They don't change. It doesn't matter when you built it. I mean, they do change occasionally, but they're not meant to change often. Now, here's the thing I don't like. In modern WordPress, we have what's called the block editor. In my opinion, it's a giant piece of shit. Like, I don't know who the hell would build a page like this. It doesn't work. And so what we need to do is we need to go to the plugins, and this is like an updated WordPress. They're trying to dumb it down too much. They're taking away too much. What we need here is the classic editor. So I'm going to activate the classic editor, and we're going to get that back real quick. And if you got questions about WordPress that are related to what I'm showing you, go ahead, pop them in the chat, and I'll try and answer them along the way. I'm just going to dismiss some of these notifications. It's getting a little bit unruly. Okay, let's go back into Pages, add a new one. Okay, here we go. That's good. Okay, you can see it looks a lot different, right? It just, the way it's kind of set here, it seems what we're more used to. Is this video uploaded on my channel? Yes. But I may leave the lives in the live section. Like, you guys know, when you go to someone's channel now, to see the lives, you actually have to go like kind of around the back. Like, let me show you what I'm talking about. It's kind of weird. But if you want to find someone's like lives, you have to click this button, right? You got to go to videos, and then you go here, and you got to go to live streams. Like, did you know that? So I'm trying to re-upload them. so they're stored well, but just so you know. Okay, so this is going to be the home page for 2020 Q4. The reason I like to write it like that is because I like to update my homepage every quarter with something fresh. You know, keep it going. And so I like to kind of save the old home pages. So I'll typically note homepage, year, and quarter. Now, I'm not going to use the classic editor, but it opens up the backend editor, which is the WordPress Jupyter editor. And that's this, which is actually called WP Bakery Page Builder. It works inside of the Jupyter theme. You basically get this canvas, right? You have a blank page. The first thing you're always doing is clicking the plus sign and adding a section. Now, there's two ways to do this. You can add the section here, or you can add the section here. Why are there two? Why are some icons red? Why are some icons color different? Well, the top icons are the native WordPress functionality or Page Bakery's functionality. Everything in the red comes from Jupyter and the additional functionality from installing this theme. So I prefer to use the red icons. So how would you get to this exact moment? You would first need to purchase a domain name, purchase web hosting, install WordPress, purchase the Jupyter theme, install Jupyter theme. You'd basically be where I am at now. So there's a little bit of expense to get to this point. It's not completely free, but what I have now is the capability to build almost anything, and there's no sort of ongoing expensive cost. Just the web hosting, yearly, cheap, $50 a year, $70 a year, and then the one-time fee of the theme. I'm going to start a new page section. Now it's very faint. But what's happened here is now I have this thing I can work with. All the settings are always found under the pencil icon, editing. This is the cloning icon. This is the delete icon. This is the columns. If I want to break this up into columns, this is where I do it. But now you actually really want to now put a row inside of your page section, because page sections are meant to hold more than just one set of data. They are meant to have backgrounds that can span, and you don't necessarily do that correctly when you don't use the page section row hierarchy correctly. This also is critical for when you're designing responsive pages, because the rows allow you to sort of decide where things will end up on top of each other or below, because in desktop, they'll be left and right, but on mobile, they'll be up and down. You have to think about that. Now, on a home page, what I think we should always see is a super clear, unique selling point of what you are in some capacity. Now, you want that because the person who arrives to your site, you want them to know exactly what you do, right? You want them to know how you can help them, right? So let's go ahead and go back over here, and we're going to just take this for now. We may change it later, but this is all we're going to take for now, is their opening line of copy from their original site. Now, how do you add text? Do you add a text block? No. This is for very simplistic text. You actually want to come down here, fancy title. Fancy title allows you all the different options to make it look however you want. Now, whenever you bring text into WordPress, there's visual, what you see is what you get, and then there's text. When I go back into the text side, I see the code. Notice that strong? What it is showing this bold. I want to remove that for now. I don't want any extra data coming in. I want a nice clean text line here. So let's go ahead and save that, and let's go ahead and publish this. And this is how you start building more as a marketer. Let me draw the difference here. A web designer might say, please give me all the copy so that I can design around the copy. And that's a standard good way to do things. Write all the copy first, then make the design, then go develop it. And the copywriter might say, I'm going to do all the copy right away. I don't care what the design is. Okay, that's not a bad way either. But this is sort of how it works when there's multiple people and multiple stakeholders and multiple approvers. When you're kind of doing what I'm doing, full stack marketer, I actually see it just as easy to kind of do everything all at once. And I think the time you save is enormous. I think you become more integrated in the project. So what I just like to do is start adding components and just see how it's working out. Like, this is what I have so far. Like, it doesn't look good, right? Oh, poor Moxie. Sounds like he's crying in the next room. Probably wants to go for a walk. Okay. What the hell is this? Homepage 2020 Q4. Why would that be there? Well, this theme is automatically taking the title of the page and creating what's called a page title. You can even see it's slightly gray. What I typically do is I scroll down, Jupyter Page Options, Manage Page Elements, Remove Page Title, Update. How does that look? Good, gone. Now, nobody likes to look at a dummy logo, so why don't we go over to Canva, my favorite design tool, and let's just build a really simple, quick logo. Typically I'd say, 200 pixels wide, 90 pixels high. Here I am, Canva. I use Canva Pro. I use Canva whenever I think I can get away with it. I always prefer to save time. Canva just has the ability to design, create, and then download so quickly. It can't be ignored. And I really recommend you get the photo upgrade. I recommend you get the Pro account. I'll put a link below if you want to. I think I can give you a discount link, but I'm not sure. I can't remember what it is. Anyways, that's not the point. So all you need to do is just come over here and you can use one of these fancy things. I don't even care about that. Just click add a heading, make it small enough so it fits. Hey, what's going on here, guys? Guys, can I get some text that please fits here? Okay, I'm just gonna choose a subheading, make it small. Now, I might just do something really simple and fix it later. I just don't want to keep looking at that Jupyter logo. But let's try to do something a little better. Let's try and grab just any font that's going to serve us well at this phase. Now, what I want you to know is when you get started with any sort of a web project, I really think, you should strongly consider just a very simple text-based logo and just start from there. Don't worry about spending money on logo. I just don't think it makes a difference in the beginning. So I do want this to sort of fill out the box. So I'm just going to use this for now. I'm just going to go up here, right-click, download. I want a PNG, transparent background, download that. And I'm just going to quickly also make a white version while I'm here. And I'm going to download that and make it transparent. Okay, so I'm going to, before I go into more page development, just because I'm like that, this logo is so ugly to me and I can't really get going because it's such a key element that I'd love to see it there in presence. So you go on over to Jupyter Theme Options. And note how those downloads are right here at the bottom of my Chrome window. That makes this next part a little easy. Go into logo and title. So I need a dark logo, the default, and I need a light logo. So let's get the dark first. I'm just going to drag and drop in. Now, you do want to title this the name of your company. And you probably even want to go further and put the whole description, because this is going to be a bit of an SEO spot. Okay, and I'm also going to upload the light logo. Music is a little loud. Maybe it was just the song, but I'll bring it down another 4 decibels. Thanks for letting me know. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, I'm not going to worry about SEO too much. That's not the point of this, but let's take a look if that's fixed us up. Okay, we got Orca's pod going. Great. Doesn't look so foolish anymore. You know, the header and the menu needs to be done. We'll look into that a little bit, but let's get some of the bigger sections going. I think that's what really slows people down. Like, how do I make this first thing look good? Like, why is that so hard? Well, the first thing I recommend you do is come and make the page a new color. Okay, set a new color for the background so you can start getting a sense of, you know, how it's gonna feel to have a lot of color there. So I'll just update things one at a time, and that way you're gonna see them happen, cause and effect. How can we let visitors post something to our website? Example, reviewing a product. For sure, there are review plugins, but I wouldn't go much farther than review plugins. I mean, you don't want people adding stuff to your site necessarily. But yes, reviews makes a lot of sense. And there's definitely plugins for that. And you're asking kind of a more complicated question because it could be a custom design thing. Now, that doesn't look too good, does it? What's happening here? Here is the section we're working on. There is some white spaces between the header and the footer. This is the footer down here. The footer has not been built yet. So I'll tell you in Jupyter, what that is this little thing right here. Some people want that extra padding. I don't. So I'm going to update that out and you'll see the white spaces will be gone soon. Okay, good. No more white space at the top. But this title is not working because now it's gray on blue. So let's make the title much bigger, center it, and make it white. So we come into fancy titles. This is the what you see, what you get editor. You don't fix it here. You actually fix it down here. And first of all, this is going to be an H1 header. That's good to do. Single color, and I'm going to make that white. Okay, font size. I want this font size all the way up to about 50 because this is the front home page. But now 50 will look huge on your phone. So let's come down to force responsive, and let's also make mobile 30. We'll make tablet 40, and we'll make desktops 45. Okay. Line height, fine as it is. Font weight, let's go a little bold. Letter spacing, I often like to go -1, but I'm going to show you that in a second to show you the difference. You can select the font. I'm not going to do that right now. Align center. There's one for the center of the text, and there's one for mobile alignment. Sometimes you want it left on desktop, center on mobile. That's very common. You can make it fade in and fade out and do stuff. I wouldn't be doing that first time around. And you can also make it visible or invisible depending on what devices you're on. Now, the reason you have this is sometimes it's very hard to make a certain section responsive. And when that's the case, you actually end up making 2 sections, one for desktop, one for mobile, and you set them invisible to the opposite. And that allows you to have a different experience. Okay, so looking a lot better, but there's no spacing here. So how do you add spacing? It's very easy. You can either add the spacing on the title by going into the settings again. While we're here, do you mind if I put the letter spacing to -1, please? Thank you. You could padding top or padding bottom. It already has 20, but I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to click the plus sign. Notice when I click the plus sign, it will dictate where the item comes in. Prepend to the column. Prepend to this column. Okay, like where do you want this item to start? And you want it in the row. You're looking for padding space. Remember, you can always type things in and it will refine for you. The default is 40 pixels. In this case, we actually have a much bigger portion. We're going to set this to 100 and see what happens. We're going to double it by cloning it. You always want to start getting used to cloning it, and I just dragged it down below. So I put a little padding on both. Let's see how that looks. Now, the next thing to think about is, do I want my page section to span the entire screen, right? Because if I start another section right here, let's do that just for the sake of showing this. This is a kind of a decision time, right? Do you go with the thin header or do you go with the full screen header? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to start a new page section because I don't really want that blue background here. New page section, new row, and I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to grab all of their other information and I'm just going to put it in here as a regular text block, and we'll see the difference. Okay, that looks good. Now, well, we'll do some alignment lessons as well. So let's see how that looks. Okay. The reason you might want to make this blue section much higher and longer is to not distract people with this extra stuff here. You want them to hone in on this. So one thing you can do, and I typically do this, is you come into the page section at the top and you scroll quite far down and you're looking for this option here, full screen height. Click that, save it, and let's see what happens. Okay, so what happened is no matter what my screen size is, it's going to match it by going all the way to the bottom. And why I like this is now I get this very sort of clean experience, right? And so the next thing I might want to do is add like a little button. Okay, button comes in. Notice, you can tell there's a lot of padding here. I put it in the wrong spot. The padding is above the button. So I just need to switch these two around and see how that looks now. Okay. Now, what's happening though is I feel it's a little low on the screen. So I'm probably going to reduce the padding on the top by about 40, and that's often guess and check, right? You don't always know how it's going to look. As you get more experience, you kind of have a sense of how big pixels really are. Like, you know how you can estimate like a centimeter or an inch. Most people don't know what a pixel is, and it takes time. Like, what is 50 pixels or so, right? So, okay, that's looking a little better. I just feel it's like sitting a little bit more centered. And now I'm going to clean up the header a little bit. Like, see this ugly admin thing? I'll show you where that's all in. If you go into header, you actually want to turn that toolbar off. See that toolbar right here? Let's turn that off. It's ugly as hell. Let's save those settings and see how that looks right off the bat. Now, does this company seem like they're the type to have a white header? Not really. I notice the toolbar's not changing. I think it's because toolbar off, save settings. Very perplexed why this is still here. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens. And I think the next thing to do would be to start a little menu for them. So when you're in WordPress, everything in the hierarchy of the menu happens under appearance, menus. It's very easy to use menus. I'm surprised how people sort of don't see the simplicity of it, but you know, we're just going to start out with some custom links because we don't have a lot of pages. So I'm just going to put like about. It's going to go into here. And I'm just putting a number sign. You can always use a number sign as a template holder for a link. And these links aren't going to do anything right away, but they're just going to give us some visualization. Okay, so we're going to save this menu. See how that plays out. So what was happening is there was no menu actually assigned to the primary navigation. I need to come in there and do that. There we go. So menu's now working, starting to look good. Now the font doesn't look very good. There's a search button. There's a WooCommerce button here. So what I'm actually going to do is go back into the header. I don't want search. Search, no thanks. We're not going to worry about fonts. Try not to worry about fonts. People always get worked up about fonts. You can see the text looks a little bit better with the -1 spacing. I don't know why. Default letter spacing just never looks that good to me. So let's take a look at where we've come to, okay? Shiza. Okay, save image. Okay. So we're not doing them justice yet, but we've got them on good track. Okay, we've taken this information and we've moved it. We need to get them these links and their Instagram flowing a little bit more, but I'm not gonna have access to their Instagram, so I'm not gonna be able to do like a deep integration where it like populates. Now, this text over here looks like junk. That's the next thing to fix, but I think their artwork isn't really coming alive yet. So I'm gonna try and work with this image that they've used here on the back and see what happens. So I'm just gonna go into the media folder and evaluate the media that they provided on this. Okay, they've got a bunch of media in here. Okay, so this is 970 by 617. That scales pretty well into, 2000 by 1000, so I don't mind this. It's pretty damn cool. Let's try it. Let's go back to our page. And we're going to try and not use the blue anymore. We're going to put a background image. So I'm going to go back to what they originally had, which is this wild background. I'm just going to try and finesse it a little bit. See if I can just kind of dial it down a little bit. So background image, same thing, set image, some keys. Well, first, let's just look how it looks because it's going to repeat. Because it's not big enough. So let's see what happens. It actually looks a lot better than it used to. For some reason, the way it's resolving, it actually looks pretty cool right now. It's just too bright. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a fade on it. And we could even put this in Photoshop, manipulate it a little bit, which might be a next phase, and sort of just put a nice vignette on it. But we're definitely going to need to put some background on the text because it just looks too heavy on the contrast. Now, here's what you can do right away. First, I'm also going to cover whole background. I want to see what it looks like without repeating. I think it looks pretty cool as a repeat, to be honest. It's gonna look lower res. See, it looks a lot lower res. And I think that's what really brings this down is like on lower res, it just doesn't look as sharp or poppin'. So let's go back to the repeat. What would be nice if we could kind of like reduce this edge. It's just a little heavy. Repeat is fine. I think repeat is cool. I'm gonna try a mask. And I'm going to put a gray on it at 0.5 opacity. I'm going to put an inner shadow. We're going to go from there. See how that looks. Okay. So this may or may not be good. I don't know yet. I think it's starting to look better. It's a bit drab, it's a bit flat now, so I'm just gonna try to reduce that background effect just a touch. I'm gonna go down to 0. Well, first I'm gonna remove the mask overlay and then I'm gonna go to 3. So it's gonna look a lot different. The mask actually gives it this very subtle pattern. This is okay. This isn't bad. I actually feel like this has come down to a level where my eyes aren't burning. And what I like about this is it's actually gonna look pretty good on mobile because I'm gonna get just one of the squares. Like that actually looks pretty damn cool. The way I'm gonna improve this is I'm gonna put a very faint black box around this text, and that's gonna help it stand out. So how are we gonna do that? Because if I create a box, it's gonna try and go like all the way to the edge, and I only want it right here. So I think the logical thing to do is what you would do is I'm gonna duplicate this row. Now this is a little bit more advanced. I'm gonna delete everything in this row, and I'm going to add a custom box. Now this is the sort of thing that takes time to learn what it is you need to do what you want, okay? So custom box helps you make a little box and then put things inside of it. So I'm gonna make this box black, flat black to start. I'm gonna drag the button and the title in, and now I'm actually going to take the padding out of the rows, and I'm gonna put the padding in the edges of the page section. Notice how there's a row. Look very carefully here, okay, at this page section that I'm opening up. In this entire section, there's what we would call a free radical padding space. He's just hanging out at the top. He's not really in the row. So that allows us to sort of give the box a bit more control. Okay, so we're not going to be upsetting the padding space. Let's see what's new with this now. Okay, see, that's exactly what I was kind of hoping for, is that the padding remained up here. And I like how this didn't go all the way. I think the default kept it there. I think if I clicked full width row, this would open up. Now this is really, to me, getting into a better place of a professional looking site because the text is legible. Now, I think what we should do is try to reduce the opacity on the black box to bring the background in a little bit. But I also like this black box because it disturbs the center segment where it showed that it was kind of split and repeating. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go into the custom box here. I'm actually gonna make the corners a little bit round. I like everything else. I want a bit more. You go into the color, and here you can control the opacity. I'm just gonna go to 80. I think everything else will be fine. I'm going to save that. I like that. I think that is getting into a really cool spot. I think it's a little bit low. I think I need to, there we go. That looks better. Okay. Just refresh it one more time. I don't know why it's doing that load thing. Anyways, this is better to me. Okay. I think that we can now sort of save this. I'm not loving the button or the accent color yet, but we'll get there. Okay. I think like we are bringing to life what they desire for. Let me show you a cool trick. See how this white background is up here and it chooses the dark logo? I think if I go down to styling, override the global settings, make sure that's off. I'm going to enable a transparent header gonna see what that does. Normally that makes it see-through. Cool. Isn't that cool? I think that is really cool. I think like having Orca's pod like that looks really cool. Here's what's not cool. These texts look really poor. So here's what I'm gonna try and do. I'm gonna try and move the logo all the way to the left, and I'm gonna turn these into a burger. Okay? So I'm gonna go into Jupyter theme options. I'm gonna go into the header. I'm going to select option 3, which gives me the burger. See, there's 4 types of headers here. And go with option 3. And I'm going to make the burger large. Side dashboard. Not a boxed header. I don't want it boxed in, okay? This is boxed. See how it lines here? Boxed. I think that's all I need. See how that looks. And you know, I'm just kind of working with what I have, right? Like, I don't really typically use the burger icon. Custom page setting. I actually need to switch it to number 3 down here. There we go. Who's still with me? Let me know in the chat. I will record this session though. Okay, isn't that looking so much more posh? Oh my God. This looks like a fun place to be right now. I don't love the font or the button color yet, but I do like the new layout of Orca's pod being over here, and that they can just open up a really clean side dashboard. Now, why is this empty? Okay, I gotta go into the menus, and I think we probably have to set in the locations under side dashboard primary. So there is the burger showing at the top right. So we've come a long way, guys. We've come a long way. We've come from this monstrosity, and we started laying things out, and now we've brought back a little flavor. I think we're on the right track, and I've made this transparent. Let's now deal with this down here. Let's make it really simple, okay? This is great text, and I love how it's really broken up. I think it needs some editing here, which I'm gonna fix a little bit. I see. Okay. Centered it up. Now, here's something that you always want to know about. You know, when you design for desktop, things can get a little wide, and the wider things become, the more difficult they are to read. Like, I've got to move my eye so much here. It's not going to be exciting to read this stuff. So that's where those rows really come into play. And you can just come into this row here, and what I would recommend is like something like this, where it puts like these mini columns on the side, and it makes the middle column just a little bit thinner, narrower, and that will bring the text in nicely. Okay, see how that's kind of nicely placed? I hate how gray the text is, so I'm gonna spend a little time now in the typography and just get that going a little bit. What font did I choose for the spot? Code Pro. I don't know if that's in this, but what you basically do is you go into Jupyter, you go into theme options, change the accent color to a nice blue. I'm not even worried about colors right now, to be honest. That's not the point. What was I gonna do now? Typography. So I'm just gonna add in a new font family. It's Code Pro here. Source Code Pro, maybe it is. That looks like it. Let's just keep it simple for now. Elements, body, headings, paragraphs, everything. So what I'm doing here is I'm telling the system like what fonts to use. And for now, I'm just going to choose everything. Like I didn't need to do this, but it will just make sure everything is the exact same font. And then if I want to change one, I'll take it out of here and I'll assign a new font. Although I'm not feeling it here. What's going on here? Font, default, font family. All right, let's take a look at what's happened now. Okay, why are the texts not updating here? It's like one of those situations where you're like, you're actually in someone else's or a different company's WordPress and you're like making adjustments thinking you're in that because you have too many tabs open. No, I don't think that's what's happened. But see, they've installed a caching plugin and I bet you that's like blocking us. So I'm gonna now spend some time and go look at the plugins and kind of like get rid of some of these plugins that are not meant to be used right now. See, changed right away. The cache plugin was holding the fonts as a time-saving element. Look how much better it looks now. It looks way better. Oh yeah, this looks way better now. Okay, I'm gonna add some spacing here, but like we are almost done. Like I just said I would fix your homepage, dude. I didn't say I'm gonna build you a whole site. How long have we been streaming for? An hour and 8 minutes. Good for us. You know, and that's why we get paid $500 an hour. Because we can do so much that could change someone's business in just a matter of an hour. Like, imagine, like they don't care, they don't think it's a big deal, they don't know any better. But how many people were like, oh, I want to take my kid over to Orca's Pod and do some, you know, arts and crafts at the community arts center. But then I come over there and this is their website. Like, what? Like, who are these people? Like, is this some sort of whale cult? Like, who is Orca's Pod? Like, why are they so scary? Like, there is a rationale to building a quality branded website that is clear and easy to understand. Like, look at the difference here. Look at where we've come from. Let's update ourselves again. Let's capture the entire page. Saving the image. And coming back over here. Updating ourselves. Okay. Okay, came from this. We built out a framework. We put the background back in. We transparented the header and made this. Oh my God, it's so much better. Wow, it's just really substantial. Okay, I need a bit of padding here on the left. Need a little padding here. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's add a little padding over there on the content box. side paddings, left and right. Let's make it 40. Looking good, looking good. Everything's looking good. Okay, they delivered me this. I've added everything back in. I need to add them a little bit of a message here. Their Instagram accounts. Okay, so here's, shit. That's something I didn't save. I didn't save, oh wait. I can check on the old page. Yikes. I didn't save all those links. So I'm gonna back into this page. Actually, I should go to view page. Click the links. Okay, let's see what they've got here, okay? They've got Instagram. They got another one. Wordpress plugin display Instagram without login. You always have to log in. Good hosting, Namecheap. I love Namecheap. I've been using them for years. They never let me down. They got great pricing. Go to richandniche.com/Namecheap for a discount, I think. Or no, probably not actually. Just supporting. That's right. I don't think I can get you anything. But always appreciate the support. I would recommend you go into shared hosting and just get one of these, Stellar Plus maybe. $3 a month for the first year, $6 a month Canadian later on. Unmetered SSD, unlimited websites, auto backup, includes domain, and you get a CDN. It's worth it. Okay, so I kind of wanted to bring their Instagram to life on their site, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Is there an Instagram profile pic ripper? Maybe this here. Yeah. This is what I want. Now this is where you get creative for your clients, guys. This is where you get creative for your clients, eh? You put in their username. Because I can't exactly take this image here and blow it up. But here, it's giving me a nice quality one. So I'm gonna save this image. And I'm gonna do that for their other site as well. And they're gonna be like, whoa, Rich, how'd you do that? Notice what I searched, Instagram profile pic ripper. I had no idea this would exist, but I knew someone would likely do what I'm doing, wants this, needs this, and they create a little tool. Okay, so what I think I'll do is, and here's the thing, guys, you can also use edit with WP Page Bakery Builder, and now that my framework is in place, I actually don't mind sort of building out in kind of a what you see, what you get way. And what happens is now I can edit here in real time. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna add a section like I was doing, but now at least I can see everything. It's kind of good, but I also has some downsides, okay? Not everything is easy to click. Not everything is easy to adjust this way. So I would typically still prefer to stay in the backend editor, but it's all right. So I'm gonna make this a double column, and it's already getting, oh, there we go. And I'm gonna put image. There are 2 images there. And I'm gonna put nice juicy links to there. And juicy is an adjective. You might think it's like a tool. What's a juicy link? No, I just mean some nice big links. I need some really big links. Original size. Align, center. See how that looks. Great. I think this is like better than what they had. I mean, why, if you're going to show an Instagram account and you want people to follow, you know, you kind of have to show some visuals, don't you? All right, I've had enough of this front-end editor. I was really just doing it to show you. I'd like to go back into the back-end editor now. Okay. So we got one image flowing. We're moving one over here now. And we're going to get the other image. That's Orca's pod. Here's Orca's family. And I'm actually going to put the link to the Insta. New window, because I don't want to take them off their site. Orca's comic. Now I'm going to add a little fancy title, and it's just going to say, don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Grab a little padding space. If you see another padding space on your board, just duplicate it, grab it there. No need to go looking for a new one. Let's see how we're doing here. A little small. Let's move it to the center and make it bigger. These are a little big as well. Let's see if we can bring those down about half the size. No problem. No problem. Quickly go into the fancy title first. How do you add a custom font in WordPress? You get the plugin called Use Any Font. I think it's like $12 for a permanent license. Very cheap, but see, I have it down here. Use Any Font. It allows you to upload any font you want. Great question. But these days, I typically just go with what's inside. I used to kind of worry about that. And I would if it was a major site with like a big brand, but for this, I would never try and worry about a custom font. Okay, did these go to the right location? Orca's Pod the comic, Orca's Pod, good. We should probably put a link as well. It says click here to follow, but whatever. I'm not going to do that right now. You know, though, I think it would be smart to actually go for a circle image frame. Re-upload those. I'm going to make it 300. Let's see the difference. Yeah, I kind of like that better. I kind of like this better, and I think I'm going to put like a purpley background. Or I might put one of their images, actually. I would say this stream is probably going to last another 20 minutes. I think I'm getting pretty close to like what I set out to do today, and like I want to hand this back to them and like be done with it. I'm not trying to spend time on this at all. I'm trying to do a favor. The favor was, hey, I will install Jupyter for you and I'll make your homepage look better, because what you got going on over here, son, not working. Okay. Gonna do some really simple adjustments. I'm going to grab this don't forget to follow us on Instagram. I'm going to clone it. I'm going to take it above this. I'm going to say who we are, or our story. And it should be centered already. I'm going to make the background of the Instagram. Do you start with a Jupyter preset template, or did you build it from scratch? Always build from scratch. Let's see what images they have. And don't forget, we can always adjust the images. Yeah, this is a cool one. Let's try this. And let's do that thing again where we put, you know, I might try a gradient here and give them something funky. I might go for this sort of like pinky orange gradient. Let me try. Okay, I'm gonna see how that looks. But you know what I do use templates for? I use templates for inspiration. Oh, that's what I can do with this. Oh, that's what I could create. But when I'm in the act of creating, I find the template slows you down because you end up having to delete things. You end up trying to like make them work for you, even though they're just part of the template. You didn't really build based on what you actually needed. So you can somehow lose your kind of design hierarchy or your information hierarchy because you're like forcing it in some sort of template mode. I'm gonna make it a little darker. No, it's not bad actually. It's not bad. I think we could make this whole section just a little bigger on both ends. So I'm just gonna increase the padding space on both sides by 20 pixels. So 60 here. 60 here. And I was just going to adjust the coloring to make it a bit darker. See if I can do that. I mean, I hope you guys are noticing I'm trying to use like the Instagram feel behind it. Like if you notice the Instagram color of the logo, it's purple orange. So I'm just trying to make people feel Instagram-y. I need to put a little button below. It's not enough to just have this. That's not what they had. They had follow us on Instagram, Orcas Pod and Orcas Pod the comic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a fancy title, even though it's going to be small. We're going to make this an H span. We don't need to have SEO on this. We're going to make it 16 font size. We're going to make it medium, but I'm going to make them all uppercase. -1 on the letter spacing. Center alignment. I'm going to just duplicate that. Comic. I'll make sure it looks good and then I'll add the links. By the way, good to see Zach here, Robert Ryan. The good guys, you're smart to jump in on these. These are like live labs. I mean, we're going to be doing similar stuff like this in the academy starting next week, but this is a little bit more deeper and intensive. Okay, that looks really good. I love that. I just want to make it white. And that's great. So I'll grab the comic link first. And guys, this is so common now. Like a company doesn't need a big website. All they're going to really need is a one-pager, typically. Couple sections, nice and clean. You don't need to sell super big sites. All you need, what you're looking for, is a landing page. And then you can go start your business, right? Like when you build websites, you're not making money on that. You need to go use that website as part of your sales process. Ready to sign up? Go to my website. Want to know more info? Go to my website. But it's the website that unlocks those sort of conversations. So really just need something basic, something where people can come. Hi, Jasmine. Okay, I forgot to make those white. Now, you could go here and grab this and make it white here, but I actually just prefer doing it down here. Hey, I did it. Why didn't it? Strange. Seems like I've already done it. Let's try again. Might not be saving. Okay, it's blue because it's a hyperlink. That's fine, but it's not going to work well here for me. So I'm going to have to force it. And so in this case, when you want to force a color in WordPress, that is when you would override it at the what you see, what you get level here, going into the colors and making this white. It'll disappear here, which is annoying. You can always come into text, see it better, but that's a bit annoying. But that's the way it goes sometimes. That's just the need. That's just how design currently works. Let's accept that. Okay. So now these are hyperlinks as well. They could use a little space below. I'm going to add a little padding space at the bottom of the circle. So I'm going to go into the circle image frame, look for padding below. There is none. Okay, this doesn't have that option. So all I have to do is go to padding space, duplicate this, drag it in here, see what I said. I want about 15 here. And then I'm going to duplicate that, pop that over to this side. So always trying to design and build in a way that you can duplicate and make things quickly and fast, right? So we're on this website now for an hour and a half. Let's fix this hour story. That's not correct. You can see the padding space has not been sorted properly. Here it is. They also had a little message here that says, as of July 1st, we open an art gallery in Gibson. Stop by for a visit. More to come soon. In the meantime, follow us on Instagram. I will add that under their story here. Okay, that should really get us close to home now. Yeah, there's a little bit too much space there, but my God, this site really looks a lot better. It just looks so much more clean and fun and like someone put some thought into it. But yet, it's not like they didn't want to put thought into it. There is a disconnect between the mind and the mouse. And that's why I always say the full stack marketer is just a professional button pusher. We know exactly what buttons to push at the right time to bring to life a message on a page. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save this. See, like, did we really need to spend like a long time rewriting all the copy out? Then did we need to go get a bunch of images? Not in this case. Not in this case. We didn't need to make this more difficult than it already was. So here's what we started with. We started with welcome to Orca's Pod with this random shopping cart. Orca's Pod barely legible across a low resolution banner. Another welcome to Orca's Pod with a search icon. Welcome to Orca's Pod again. This is going to be terrible for SEO. We've got artwork here, which has zero context. We've got an archives with a calendar. God knows why. We've got opening text in this weird ass text box. We've got Instagram links that cannot tell their links. And then we've got some more random links here. Find some of Orca's Pod's family creative work here. Okay, so First thing we did was we broke out the core text and we started building our framework. We made a little basic logo in Canva. Shout out to Canva. We then kind of brought their artwork back into play and we let it repeat. Because this is abstract art, we can let this repeat. That is a very rare thing. We added a custom box, title, button. This button goes nowhere right now. We may remove it because there's nowhere to really go with it. We could also use it to be like, contact us or something like that. We're not really there yet. Then we made a transparent header, which I think really sells the site. We moved the header icons into a burger, which is not going to matter because this is a one-page site for now. We brought in the row here by putting like empty rows, empty columns on the side, which made this a lot easier to read. And then we added our story and we added this little Instagram section down here with links. So I do think we've ultimately recreated what they've asked or what they've had. I do not have this stuff yet. That could all be added to the menu. But I mean, this is incorrect. This should not be promoting 3 different separate business links. This is desperate and foolish. Any questions? I think that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this WordPress walkthrough. I'll post this up to YouTube. I think this is very valuable for people. For those of you who are in my Academy membership, which is really going to be igniting first week of September, you know, this is the type of detail you can expect to learn from me so that this is done for you. You never deal with these situations. You are unconsciously competent. You can make a page. I would charge approximately $800 if I was to charge this person for this 1 hour and 32 minutes. Now, the final things to do would be a little work on the menu, fix this button a little bit, a little SEO, and not much more. I think they could use a contact area, like how to get in touch with us. But this is almost done. So helpful to see the build out live. Yes, I think it is. And I think this is something you don't see a lot of people doing. It's not comfortable. It's difficult. It's quite impressive that we got through this live without any real hiccups. In a real practical sense, sometimes you'll hit a hurdle and it'll cause you 3 to 5 to multiple days to get over it for some reason. So I think we did a great job of persisting and not letting perfectionism get in the way. I think that it's great to watch other people build sites and bring them to life. And of course, I can spend 3 more hours on this and make it even better. But we always have to just know why we're doing this project. This is pro bono. I can't spend forever on it. So I think it's good for now. Might want to work on the footer or remove it if we're not going to have it. But I think this is pretty good to go. So I'm going to call this a stream. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, night, evening, day, wherever you're at. And I'll be back next week with different stuff. We won't be doing this very often, but you know, I definitely want to try some newer dynamic teaching live and see how that goes. And then recording them and saving them, giving them to people